Hi, it's a new review for a TerraTech. For this one you play as an off-world prospector who is looking for the valuable assets to send back to home since the said planet is devoid of resources. You end up crash landing on an alien planet at this when the game begins. The game began its life on Steam and is in early access there for a while. This is PS4 version is a highly anticipated full release with a top of content to enjoy. In a campaigning mode you can play in which is basically a survival mode with enemies coming after you a study piece. There are 4 factions you can join, each very different from the rest: Geocorp, Venture, Hawkeye and GCO. Increasing your standing, which is a faction, will allow you gain better parts for your vehicle, parts which are specific to each faction. But to be able to join each faction, you will have to complete specific requirements. For example, Venture is a kind of racing faction, so they will require that you to do jumps and complete races. GCO is probably the most fun faction to join since they're into crafting. TerraTech definitely provides an interesting constructors set, but it can be difficult to discover and enjoy its nuances. Descriptions of blocks in your inventory feature no useful statistics to aid comparison. Furthermore, whether you're playing docked or undocked, the whole game is plagued by small fonts that make reading what the text is uncomfortable. Overall, there is a sense that all aspects of control and user interface needed a more ambitious overhaul when transition from PC to console. The controller mapping is a violent attempt to marshalling the complexity of the construction system, but it's all too easy to forget that you are in certain editing mode or submenu, and what that means for the function of each button. So the principles of construction are definitely easy to understand. The actual process can become enhanced in a controller. A good chunk of the interface works under the assumption that dragging and dropping items into place is an easy and comfortable motion. True for a mouse, but something to be tolerated on a controller. Something like a Banjo-Kazooie nuts bolts was more successful in this regard. Tellingly, this is not touchscreen support in handheld mode. Combat in TerraTech is a mixed bag. There is a definite joy in feeling every surface of a large vehicle with small cannon and greeting roaming vehicles with a hail of bullets. However, early game survivability is low, which leads to frustration. Players will have to wait for a while before they can obtain larger batteries to power their shield and healing bubbles, but stop regularly to recharge batteries in unnecessary ardors. Wading into combat without shields isn't advisable. Dying means either paying a hefty sum in a gold to get your vehicle back, or taking the option of free starter vehicle and investing the not insignificant time in take tours to rebuild a creation capable of talking on a larger opponents. If you're dying too often, you may be to attempt to simply choose the free option repeatedly and wear down difficult enemies. The game is arguably full of these instances, where the proper solution can be bypassed by something for less time consuming but also less interesting. Undisciplined players need to be happy. Some quests and objectives require to use a particular type of vehicle in order to complete them, which is why you can save your creations so that you have the right vehicle to the right job. You can also choose to remove or add enemy tag, depending on how you want to play, so that you can spice things up and see where your imagination takes you. Overall, TerraTech is a fun sandbox game on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch that will get your creative juices flowing as you build your new stuff to take one of the game's campaign mode before you dive into the multiplayer side of things. With more stuff to come from the development team at a later date, you should get a head start and play TerraTech today, so that you have be ready. And guys, this is the end. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.